Hello everyone and welcome to the sideboard here in Indianapolis for the Legacy Open. Got here with Jeff Hoogland.
Howdy.
You just played on the camera for one of the rounds in the Legacy Open.
Yep.
And your deck, got a little bit of response on Twitter. It's definitely an interesting little build. I know you came up to me and described it in the hall as 4-color no blue.
Yes.
Which is amusing. But why don't you go ahead and just take the audience through the deck for yourself. What are we playing here?
Well, this is a variation on Aggro Loam, but I don't like to call it Aggro Loam because it's really more of a control deck, I think. You have Knight of the Reliquary as both a beater and a utility card, so it gives a little bit more controlling aspect. And then you generate card advantage through Life from the Loam in conjunction with your cycle lands like Tranquil Thicket and Forgotten Cave. Your removal suite is very strong. You've got 3 Punishing Fires to deal with all the small creatures. You've got Abrupt Decays to deal with Tarmogoyfs and things that are too big for Punishing Fire to kill most of the time. And then a real all-star that we saw in round 4 is Devastating Dreams. It's easily one of my favorite cards in the deck.
Okay. So when you're actually playing, as you said, it's a control deck. So how are you leading the games? Are you, spending your early turns on removal, or do you try and stick a Confidant or ramp with a Zenith? Where do you tend to split your efforts?
My favorite turn 1 play with this deck is land, Mox Diamond, Chalice of the Void on 1.
Obviously, that shuts off a lot of decks in the format. Rug, principally, among them, probably.
Yeah, and even the blue, white, and the Esper decks, almost a quarter of their deck is 1-drop, so it's a very strong play against them. But it makes you have to build your deck in a way that you're only utilizing 2 and 3 drops, which limits card selection sometimes. Like, there's no Swords to Plowshares even though we're playing white.
Okay, but going along, thanks to Life from the Loam, you have really more card advantage than even decks that are working on Jace.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I have never played a Legacy deck that cared less about Jace in my life. Like, their Jace will sit there and he'll brainstorm, and you're like, well, I'm going to draw 3 cards and keep all 3 of them. Is that okay?
Okay. One of the other cornerstones of the deck, I think we can safely say, you've got Quad Burning Wish going on here, and that's the bulk of your sideboard. You've dedicated, looks like 10-ish slots, something like that, to Burning Wish?
Burning Wish lets me have my sideboard and my main deck for just an immense amount of versatility. The most important thing to note is I'm only playing 3 Life from the Loam in the main deck, so it's also Loam's 5 through 7, which is nice. It also grabs cards like Dreadboard, Kill a Jace if you do actually care about it. There's Maelstrom Pulse. Retribution of the Meek's another good card with all the show and tell. It buries all creatures power 4 or greater, so it kills an Emrakul and a Progenitus.
Yeah, that's a very interesting card. I remember when I was leafing through your sideboard, I definitely had to double take on it. What does that one do again?
Yep, and there's also an extra Devastating Dreams in the sideboard, so when I need an extra copy of that, I have 6 virtual copies of it.
Sure. I noticed you also have multiple Thoughtseize, not just the one. Do you find yourself bringing one in, or do you actually Burning Wish multiple times for Thoughtseize?
Against the really fast combo decks like Ant and Tess and Charbelcher, I'll bring one of them in. But I do like to leave it flexible so that way if I do stabilize with a Chalice, I can Burning Wish and grab the second one and rip something out of their hand.
Okay. And last but not least, you have 3 Thalia Guardian of Thraben. Definitely kind of an odd card for such a spell-based deck to be playing. So what are the matchups where you're bringing this one in? I assume it's more combo decks where you don't mind having to pay that extra mana.
Yeah, exactly. It's those same matchups where Chalice of the Void is really good, but a lot of the time just a single Chalice won't stop Ant or Tess from killing you. So if you add a Talia to the table and a couple of Wastelands, usually that's enough to put pressure on them. There's also an extra Godok Teague in the sideboard because he's another really crucial card for the combo matchup.
Makes total sense. So I guess we'll go over one last card that's in the main deck because it's probably the curious one. Nantuko Monastery, an all-star from standard years past. But now he's killing people in Legacy. Do you think that this is sort of just an underplayed manland? Do you think he has a real role in this deck?
I definitely think he has a real role in this deck. Kills a lot of Jaces. I mean, a lot of the time people aren't familiar with him, and he just pops up. Or once my Dryad Arbor is dead, it's a really good combat trick with the Knight of the Reliquary to go fetch.
Makes sense.
And it is a beater that you can get back with Life from the Loam. That's a 5-turn clock.
Very effective. Beats down a lot faster than Dryad Arbor.
Yes, it does.
I really like the green 17th core. I think you've got, you only have a couple, obviously, because you only have so many green creatures. Did you consider a Bullet Scavenging Ooze or anything like that?
There was a Scavenging Ooze in the deck at one point, but I just felt it wasn't adding enough to the build. There's less creature decks that are present now, so a lot of the time it's just a 2/2, and that's just not enough of a clock to be worth playing, I think.
That makes sense. All right, Jeff, how are you doing in the tournament so far?
So far I'm 5-0.
5-0? Well, an undefeated start. Let's hope it keeps going. Good luck for the rest of the rounds.
Thanks.